The Scuttlers of Manchester, the forgotten gangs of the Industrial Revolution. Hello and welcome to today's video, where we'll be exploring the forgotten gangs of the Industrial Revolution in Manchester, known as the Scuttlers. These gangs were notorious for their violent behaviour and distinctive style, which was a blend of Edwardian and Victorian fashion. Let's dive in and learn more about their history. The Scuttlers were street gangs that emerged in Manchester during the 1870s and 1880s. They were predominantly made up of young men, working class men who were frustrated with their lives and turned to gang life for a sense of belonging and identity. They were called Scuttlers because of their tendency to scuttle or run away from the police. The Scuttlers were known for their violent behaviour, which included gang fights, muggings and vandalism. They were also known for their distinctive fashion sense, which included wearing bell-bottom trousers, high-collared shirts and peaked caps. This style was a blend of Edwardian and Victorian fashion and was intended to make them stand out for the rest of society. The Scuttlers were not the only gangs operating in Manchester during this time. Other gangs included the Bengal Tigers and the Meadow Lads. These gangs often clashed with each other, and their fights would often spill out into the streets. The police were often powerless to stop these gangs as they were outnumbered and outgunned. The gangs would often carry knives and other weapons, and they were not afraid to use them. The gang's violence was also fueled by the poverty and unemployment that was prevalent in Manchester during the Industrial Revolution. The Scuttlers' heyday was in the 1880s, but by the turn of the century their influence had begun to wane. This was due in part to the efforts of social reformers, who sought to improve the lives of working class people in Manchester. The government also took steps to address the social problems that had given rise to the Scuttlers. The Education Act of 1870, for example, provided free education for all children up to the age of 10. This meant that many children who would have otherwise joined gangs were able to receive an education and improve their prospects. Although the Scuttlers themselves have long disappeared, their legacy can still be seen in the culture of Manchester. The Scuttlers' fashion sense, for example, has influenced fashion of subsequent generations. Bands such as Oasis and the Stone Roses have also been influenced by the Scuttlers' style and attitude. In conclusion, the Scuttlers were a product of their time, a time of poverty and social unrest. Although their behaviour was often violent and criminal, they were also seeking a sense of belonging and identity in a society that had largely ignored them. Today, the Scuttlers may be forgotten, but their legacy lives on in the culture of Manchester. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and like content such as this, you could subscribe to the channel, which would help immensely.